afternoon. Just enjoying our time here with the frogs. Got one right up front here. I came over here twice, and he just wants, every day lately, he's been the closest one. He'll get in the water and then he'll come right back up. Well, a minute ago he was hiding behind a couple blades of grass. I was thinking about pardon me, today being 9/11, and how, of course, it reminds us of all of our mortality, but also how each of us is both a savior and a perpetrator, and balancing that. The 9/11 to me makes me instantly think of enemies, foreign and domestic. Like, for instance, the president. What greater enemy could we have if everybody elected him and now nobody could bring him down? Or he could commit any crimes and you could excuse him and still take the top spot. And then you could make anybody do anything and have their whole life hanging over their head because he's untouchable, and everybody put him in that spot. And so then, he's his own, each of us is our own worst enemy, especially when we give our power to others, which is challenging because we have to, and we don't. And so it's challenging, isn't it? And how 9/11, how the planes were taken over by supposed terrorists, but if I remember right, some of them were American citizens. They came over and they stayed here long enough to get everything they needed, and so that they blended in, and then they could get away with what they wanted once they were inside the house. And at the same time, then the whole question is, hey, the last president is tied to this, and there was thermite on the beams and everything. This was set up by the government. What? How could the government be involved in it at the same time as the terrorists? And so the government let the terrorists come in and then set them up into place to do it, but we already set it up so that we'd make sure it would cause a collapse, and then everybody be afraid and everybody band together. But where's the enemy, right? And what brought me to this thought today was the last image of a dragonfly. I took 3 pictures of him for the video, and I set him down when I was done because he didn't want to leave. But I see he was on his last leg, he or she. The next morning, I came over. First thing in the morning, I don't normally come over here in the morning, but I came over and he was sitting right next to my spot on a stick and still alive. I was like, oh, hey, you're still here. I come by at lunch and he was dead and all the ants were eating him. And I come back today and he's entirely gone. And how every moment's precious together. And if I wasn't here, where would I be? I can't fraternize with the teachers too much, even though we're almost the same age. And I can't fraternize with the kids too much, because even though we almost are the same age, they're all minors. I go home to my family, and they're my family, but they see things totally backwards and differently and have a different life experience that is all similar as the way they see things. Like my brother yesterday, we were talking about life, and I could see his perspective at the same time as, man, it made me think, man, lucky bastard, at the same time as, man, that's kind of unlucky. He was telling me how, well, he's never been without. And he never would let himself be without. And how he has his mom. But then, to help everybody, as soon as she's like, well, we need some extra money now. Why do we need extra money when you're supposed to manage the money? But And then so then he's too giving, and he's like, well, I don't have any bills and stuff. Here's my $500 for groceries. And then anytime his friends are like, hey, I want to go out, even if he doesn't have the money, he said he would come up with the money and make sure that they could go out. And he always has them to lean on him, he thinks. And so he sees things very differently because he's never been alone. And he's like, well, I always think of everybody. Yeah, I've thought of everybody since the day I was born. But it didn't get me anywhere. Instead, it pushed me out. Well, everyone was thinking of themselves, but saying they were thinking of everybody. But then how would they be thinking of everybody if anybody ever got pushed out and separated when they were the one that was thinking about everybody, but didn't have anything when they needed it? And then certain people have everything no matter what. Then they just ask somebody and they get it. And everyone in my family, other than my stepdad, has always had somebody every single day of their life. They've never been alone for a minute. And they've never been on their own. And they've always been able to think of themselves 2 times. And how, oh yeah, well, I'll take care of this and then I'll be taken care of. But by taking care of this, then I'm taken care of anyway. And so things were interlaced. Rather than having to go all the way out and come back around the other side and take care of everything. And not necessarily have anything tomorrow, because everybody can just turn on you. Which happens to me. Like when I came back from college and knew a bit about psychology, my brother was little. I don't know. He was less than 10. And I had him do a house 3-person test and did like a couple fun psychology things that I learned. And he was so excited because somebody was paying attention to him. And then my mom, she got all mad and told me that I'm not allowed to talk to Jay about anything. She had to keep her boys separate and keep Jay from being happy because of me, in order so that she could keep her child. But see the position he's in and the position she's in, and well, the position I'm in, well, I'm happy to be there, and because I get a break. It's a rest stop. But I use the least amount. I cost the least amount. And everything I do is for the collective. If I clean something up, clean the couch, whatever, I clean up everybody else's mess because I didn't leave one. And so then I took care of all their stuff. If I do the dishes, well, I do everybody's dishes. I mean, everybody does, but I do the dishes more often than anybody else. And traditionally, when I get done with my dishes, I take care of them right away. And so my stuff's always cleaned and taken care of and put away. And so then I don't have any extra to deal with. But everybody else always has extra, all this baggage and stuff, at the same time as they never have to carry the baggage, and it's always being handled. And then everything they do is like, I did something for you. And so it's interesting. And I've found this like watching in my class, how I've had kids, and so stepkids, and I've been a child obviously, and I've been with a lot of other people with kids, and yeah, it's different if they're yours, right? Because that's a property thing that nobody can take from you, huh? Yeah. So that how much harder is that? It's not. Although you can't get away from it. So then it's a benefit, but it's a burden. But it's yeah, exactly. You use it as an excuse. But when you're a step parent, you don't have no fucking excuses. And everything you do might be taken for granted. And then anytime anybody can throw you away and go get another one. And so I was listening to, like, it's funny being able to see the unwritten word and listening to Spirit talk. We had a substitute yesterday, and she's old enough that she taught some of the kids in the class's parents. And she's been a librarian and stuff. She's been around, and now she's just like doing something retirement-wise where she didn't have to learn anything. She can just sit in the class, and watch over them. And she knows how it goes at the same time as, it keeps her busy, and so that's a good spot. But listening to how the kids talk back to each other and themselves and the adults at the same time as they're always making smart ass remarks, and it's all back and forth and left to right, up and down, and then but whenever they're on the spot, they're like broken, or they're just like bah, right through the wall, you know, and they're like, I don't know. And now the teachers are the same way, but on the opposite end of that, and the parents, you know, parents, teachers, either way, and how they always have control, but they don't have any control, and then all it takes is one person to, oops, I knock that over, and then there goes all the control for the one that's in control, who's holding down the family, and then there's chaos, especially if that person gets upset or whatever, about, oh, you knocked my glass of wine over, oh, god damn it, no, you know, that costs money, you should be more careful, I gotta put new rules in place, make sure this, that, the other thing, blah, 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 and or just be like, this is no big deal, you know, and the balance of that's really tricky, because if you're in charge, you can't really lose your cool. At the same time as every time you do, everybody remembers that one time. I remember when Grandpa died, and the way that Dad reacted, you know, and it really stuck with me. Or that one time I wrecked the Porsche, and how pissed Dad was, and I thought I was dead, and I'll never forget that. And so that's something to think about. That's what I've been thinking about today. So I hope everyone has a wonderful rest of your 9/11. Speaking of Porsche. And I'll see you soon.